Hello humans! Thanks again for joining me on a reaction video. Today we are reacting to NASA's Artemis 2 Countdown Status News Conference, which is currently live. I'm watching this on the 30th. This video will come out tomorrow on the 31st, at which point I will be on my way to Florida to hopefully see the launch of the Artemis 2, which will hopefully take place on Wednesday on April 1st. So I am pre-recording videos because I know, YouTube's big thing with the algorithm is consistency. So I will have videos uploading the whole time I'm gone. God willing, the Artemis 2 will take off on April 1st. I will film it, and then I will put some of that into kind of a packaged episode that will be uploaded sometime next week, because I will have to record it, drive all the way back from Florida, upload it all, edit it all, and then I can post it all. So anyways, this is the news conference about the countdown status. Countdown has currently begun. Again, this is Monday the 30th at 5:30 p.m. Countdown has already begun. It begins about 2 days, roughly 50 hours prior to launch. So anyways, let's get into this. This first part I know will have a video, which I will get copyright claimed on if I play the audio for. So I'm going to have to generate some alternative audio, and you're just going to have to watch the video without the original audio. If you want to watch the original video with the original audio, this channel, NASA's channel, is linked down in the comments below, or rather in the description below. You can click down there. You can watch the full unadulterated video without any of my commentary, pausing, or replacements of music. So without further ado, let us get started. That's crazy. That's crazy too. Sweet. All right. So there it is, live on the pad. I watched some of the rollout on live stream on this channel. You can go back and find that. It was one of the first videos I did. It didn't do very well, the video, so I didn't watch the rest of the live stream, but I may go back and do that at some point. But let's get into this though.
Live at Pad 39B, where the Artemis 2 rocket and spacecraft stand poised for liftoff later this week. Good afternoon and welcome to NASA's Kennedy Space Center for our L-2 briefing. I'm Courtney Beasley, NASA Communications Specialist, and I am joined today by our Associate Administrator, Amit Kshatriya, Charlie Blackwell-Thompson, Launch Director, John Honeycutt, Chair of the Artemis 2 Mission Management Team, and Emily Nelson, Chief Flight Director.
All right, so we watched a panel like this. I filmed it a few days ago. I think it's already out. We watched a panel like this about the Artemis 2 kind of mission overview. I think I put it out as a 2-part video, and that should already be out. So some of these people are the same people that were in that video, but not all of them. Not all of them are the same people, so.
We'll be taking questions shortly from media here in the room and through our phone bridge, but before we get started, we will kick it off with some opening remarks from our panel.
I want a NASA laptop. You know what? I'm going to get NASA stickers, and I'm going to not put them on this laptop because it's not my laptop. It's a work laptop. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to take NASA stickers, and I'm going to put them on something. Maybe I'll put them on the wall behind me. That'd be kind of cool.
Amit.
Afternoon. Let's see. We just wrapped up our L-2 mission management team review, and the team pulled go to proceed towards the planned April 1st launch attempt.
Cool.
The MMT walked through the usual readiness items, vehicle status, ground systems, flight hardware, and the integrated launch operations timeline. We also reviewed the most recent engineering assessments, program level preparedness, and any open items from earlier reviews. in particular the agency FRR. After thoroughly walking through each of these areas, the team concluded that everything continues to look good and there are no issues preventing us from pressing ahead at this point.
That is good. I actually read an article right before watching this video about how everything looks good, which is great. It's just great. The weather's going to be the big dictator, but even the weather right now is 80% favorable, which is also great. They're worried about some cloud cover. They're worried about some moisture in the air. The temperature looks mitigatable. I don't think that's a word, but I'm going to use it like that. So right now, everything looks good to go. I'm very excited. And hopefully I don't have to make a video about how disappointed I was that I got scrubbed on the only day I was in Florida for this. So,
as we enter the pre-launch phase, the teams are in a strong posture and the mission remains on track. Over the last 10 weeks, the agency has prepared a crewed lunar test vehicle for flight and also restructured the program that it belongs to.
Interesting that they would restructure the program the week before launch rather than any other time they could have done that. Also, just wanted to mention this press conference is still live, but I believe when it started, they had only just begun the countdown. So keep that in mind. I know the countdown's been going for about an hour now, but keep that in mind. It seems like when they were starting this press conference, they had only just gone into L minus 49, which is where they start. They start at L minus 4940, which is 49 hours, 40 minutes. That's where they officially start the countdown. As I understand it, they unofficially start the countdown at L minus 50, which is about 20 minutes prior, which is when everyone's kind of arriving and checking in to their seats and like their stations and everything. That's when all that logistic happens. But then at L minus 4940, that's when they actually start the countdown and everything starts to like go. They have designated hold points. We'll have to watch a video on it, actually. It'd be pretty cool to watch a video on the whole process.
This was done deliberately. A crew that understands the campaign flight prepared a crewed lunar test vehicle for flight and also restructured the program that it belongs to. This was done deliberately. A crew that understands the campaign flies with greater purpose. A workforce that sees the road ahead holds a higher standard. This flight and the future reinforce each other. This is how Apollo worked, and this is how we will work. Through all of it, this signal of truth and rigor came through clean from the teams working on the machine to the decision makers. Nobody lost focus. Nobody cut a corner. The people in this room and in the control rooms and on the pad and at every center across the agency, you are all instrumental. The skills that you carry, the judgment you have built, the knowledge you hold, these are the things that are in the lifeblood of the agency. This mission is going to fly on Wednesday because you are here.
And we sure hope it does. But I was also seeing a lot of back and forth online about how since this is the first crewed lunar mission since the 70s, which is crazy to think about. I'm glad we're here. I'll say it time and time again. It's crazy that we took that much of a gap off, but I'm glad we've arrived back at the point. But anyways, since it's the first crewed lunar orbit mission since the 70s, they are going to, of course, take every precaution. So any small anything, any variance that's like any numbers off by 0.0 within the tolerance range or outside the tolerance range, rather, they're going to probably scrub or delay the mission just on that thing, just because it's the first time we've done this in 50 years. Again, crazy, but that's just the way it's going to be. So hopefully, like he's saying, no one cut corners. You know, things don't have to go wrong only because people cut corners. They can go wrong just because they go wrong. So hopefully nothing goes wrong, and we can see it.
As I said, the vehicle's ready, the system is ready, the crew is ready, and behind this flight stands a campaign. Landings, a lunar base, a nuclear propulsion into deep space. That begins, not ends, with what happens on Wednesday evening.
Nuclear propulsion into deep space. That is something I am not familiar with. So I'm familiar with the moon base. Not enough to tell you anything about it, but I'm familiar with the concept of us building a moon base. I have not heard any mention of nuclear propulsion into deep space. So we'll have to watch a video on that.
I have complete confidence in this team and the NASA workforce. For everybody else, 53 years ago, humanity left the moon and did not return. Now we go back. The great challenges of the last century will run not in the command centers alone, but in our factories, where the industrial might of free nations built the instruments of progress. This challenge of expanding the frontier will be won the same way, by the craftsmen, the engineers, and the industries of free nations building together what no nation can build alone. And for all the children watching that are going to watch Artemis 2, you need to hear us. An optimistic vision of the future is not naive. It is buildable. So when you watch Artemis 2, think about it. When it lands, come and build it with us. With that,
great invitation. I wish I could. I'd like to get into the space industry for those who don't know, but I don't think I have any I don't think I have any work experience that would lend to me necessarily being a good fit in the space agency, or the realm of space. I hope I'm wrong. I've been applying the jobs in the hopes that I'm wrong, but I'm not sure it's going to happen for me. But anyways, it's crazy that he's saying this, because I feel like at some base sense he doesn't know, because like they would have said this to the kids in 50 years ago too. And now the kids 50 years ago are, like my parents' generation, and they were told, hey, we've made it to the moon. We're going to do all this space stuff. And then it never happened, for one reason or another. I still don't know why it never happened, but we'll look into that. A lot of videos I'm going to be watching in the future, if you can tell. And so I feel like he's saying all this, but we don't really know. Like, something could go wrong or something could go right, and Artemis 2 makes it, and then the program stalls for some random reason because of world conflict or economy or, whatever. It doesn't matter. So I hope he's saying the truth here. I don't think anyone can know from this point on, but I hope that this is something that develops, and within my lifetime, moon base happens, interstellar travel happens, casual, leisurely travel to space is something I would very much be interested in if I could afford it when it happens. So
I'll hand it over to the launch director.
Cool.
Thanks, Amit. Appreciate
We heard from her before.
It is really good to be here in the room with you today. And I think I said this when we came over for Wet Dress. I said I really enjoy being here because generally it's something big is getting ready to happen. So thanks for all of you for...
Is this in Houston or are they in Florida? I'm not sure where they are in this press conference.
Being here today, and thanks for coming along with us on this journey and helping to tell our story. I am thrilled to say that our countdown clock picked up just a little bit ago.
Cool.
And began counting at 4:44 p.m.
Nice.
So while many of us have
About
felt
an hour
for the
ago
last
for me.
several days and weeks and even months that we have a countdown clock and we were moving toward a targeted launch date, now the countdown clock shows that. And we are just about 2 days away from our targeted launch date. Our team has worked extremely hard to get us to this moment, and I am so very proud of the work that they have done. When we went through Wet Dress, the rollback, turning the vehicle around, getting back out to the pad, and then performing to plan, and really being ahead of plan as we rolled into this weekend.
Is Wet Dress... My understanding is Wet Dress is it's like a dress rehearsal. And it's wet because they actually fuel the thing. They don't just pretend to fuel the thing, but they actually fuel the thing. Is that an accurate description of Wet Dress? If it is not, please just let me know in the comments. That would be great.
I think Sean mentioned yesterday that we roll back out on the 20th. And since we've been back out at the pad over these last 10 or so days, we've got all of our planned work is complete. Launch countdown preps are complete. We had all of them essentially done on Saturday. Emergency egress system is configured, ready to go. Crew access arm configured. We are now into, like I said, our launch countdown operations. So
cool.
We'll power up Orion a little bit later this evening, and then core stage a little bit later after that.
I guess we should watch some videos on this. You're going to hear me say that a lot. I don't know what powering up Orion means. I know it's the capsule, and I guess let me think through this and see if I can just try to figure out what it means. So if it has a lot of screens and systems in it, I'm sure. Why would they power it up 2 days ahead of time? Don't they have a limited battery span? Isn't the battery span? I guess the battery span's what? A few months? And I know they want them to be fresh. Maybe they have to do system software checks before they... I guess that makes sense if you would do software checks. I don't know why you would do it 2 days ahead of time. When do the astronauts go in? Do they go in the day of? Do they walk out and then they just lift off from there? Or do they go in a few hours before? I guess, you know what? I should buy some binoculars, I guess. I'm going to be approximately 13 miles away when this thing goes up, so I don't even know with binoculars if I'd be able to see 13 miles away astronauts getting loaded in. That would be really cool to see, though. Maybe I should bring a telescope. I don't know. Now I'm feeling woefully unprepared for tomorrow, or Wednesday, rather. But, yeah, let's, I guess we should watch videos on the stages of powering up the spacecraft. I hadn't even considered that was any more than just the day of kind of turning everything on. So, you'll learn in this channel, if anyone's still watching. Most of my retention is like less than 4 minutes on most videos, but if anyone's still watching, you'll learn. I like to learn through discovery. That is my preferred method of learning. So when I have a question, like all these questions I have been saying for the past 5 minutes, I prefer to just discover the answer naturally as I watch videos, rather than like looking them up instantly and having something found on Google. Because I find I don't really retain the information that well. If I just look it up on Google, I'll forget it within, the day probably. If I have a question and I'm constantly thinking about it, and then I come across an answer in a video, then I like retain that information a lot better. So it's just a personal preference thing for me. I like to discover the info rather than just looking things up.
And then ICPS will follow. We'll begin the configurations of the vehicle, the checkouts that we do prior to getting deeper into our countdown. And all of this will take us over the next day or so. We do have our air to GN2 changeover. Will happen early in the morning on the 1st. And as you know, that kind of sets the pace for when we can tank the vehicle.
Okay.
Our LD go for cryo load is at 0734. We did put a new hold, or we extended the hold a little bit in the countdown just before tanking. So if the work is done and the team is ready, we may tank a little bit before that. We'll make that decision on console. Cool. But the tanking is planned for 0734, and that puts us, if everything goes to plan, with all stages replenished and the closeout crew ready to head to the White Room somewhere after 1 o'clock. Our flight crew will depart the ONC just before 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we'll count down. We'll get them in the ship. We'll do comm checks, make sure all of that's good, get the crew module configured, and we will count down to our T-minus 10-minute hold.
Sweet.
Once we finish up that 30-minute hold and all systems are go, we'll pick up the count and we'll count down to our T0. So that's a little bit about our milestones and kind of where we are. It is an exciting time. It's an exciting time for this team and our crew, and really our nation and the world.
Yeah.
So
it's an exciting time for this generation of humans, including myself, to be in the midst of those returning to space, this time not with just ambiguity and accomplishment, but returning to space with purpose. That's what I'm really excited about, is that they're not just going back and like, oh, okay, we made it back again. They're going back specifically to scout out like landing operations for the next team, the Artemis 3, and then they're going specifically to scout out new locations for this moon base, which will happen within the next decade, hopefully. Very exciting stuff. I'm super pumped for it all.
As many have said, even yesterday, and as we talk about in all of our management meetings, we'll fly when this hardware is ready, and we'll see if it's ready to go in just a couple of days. But certainly, all indications are right now we are in excellent shape as we get into count. And with that, I'll hand it over to John.
Super excited.
Thanks, Charlie. Let's see. It's L-2. Glad to be back with you folks.
He's British.
Amit gave you a good overview of the L-2 mission management team meeting today.
No, maybe he's just Southern. I'm trying to figure out what the accent is. At first I thought it was British. Now I'm thinking it's just Southern.
So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why we do it and what the process is. So it's an important checkpoint following the agency flight readiness review. It's not intended to be a rerun of the flight readiness review.
Okay.
Rather, it's a chance for us to get together and do three things. Walk through the work that we've closed since FRR, walk through the work that we're still doing.
What is FRR? What is that?
And then discuss any new issues that are out there. So today we took a focused, disciplined look at to validate the work we've done and make sure that the path to the next milestone is clean, deliberate, and fully aligned. Before we polled the mission management team for go, we had a verbal roundtable, allowing all the program managers and advisors an opportunity to ask any remaining questions. There were none. Before I polled the team, we took about a 10-minute break. I like to do that to let folks that are might be a little bit intimidated, get questions to folks that are willing to speak up on their behalf. We got folks to get back together. Again, there were no questions, and then finally we conducted the readiness poll and for launch operations, and we had full concurrence, and we were a go.
Cool.
So with that, I'll turn it over to Emily.
Thank you, John.
It sounds like it's been a fairly smooth process so far. Like I'm sure there's a billion things that go into this, obviously, but like every single person on this panel seems to be saying everything's going really well. Everything's in excellent condition. We're looking like this is sorry, I random stutter there. We're looking like this is something that will happen expectantly in 2 days. So I'm very excited about that. I mean, again, I'm driving from North Carolina at 8 hours all the way down there just to see this, and then 8 hours back. So I'm like, and I can only stay for 1 day because it just happens to be a few days before Easter. I got family coming into town from out of state, and I gotta be home to host, But it's very kind of reassuring to me that this is the official, countdown system status news conference from NASA, and everything seems to be on the up and up. So I'm feeling good about driving 16 hours to possibly see this thing.
And again, I'll thank everybody for coming. We really appreciate your support. Our teams in Mission Control and our crew members have spent the last over a year, 2 years, dedicated to training for this particular mission, developing all of the products associated with this flight, and they are ready to go. Our crew members, Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, they've spent the last couple of days here at the Cape since they got here on Friday, getting an opportunity for some rest before we work them very hard. They are getting an opportunity to spend some time with their families. Tomorrow they'll get a few last-minute briefings and meetings with some of the team before they head into launch day, as Charlie spelled out for you. As we come to this really exciting moment, the opportunity is immense for us to finally get the opportunity to send our crew farther than anyone's gone before. And it's an incredible moment for the Artemis generation, and we're excited and we are ready to press. I got the opportunity to talk with Reed earlier today, and when
the Artemis generation. I love that. I'm glad to be a part of the Artemis generation, and hopefully this generation will be remembered as the generation that actually saw it through. They went back to the moon. They built stuff on the moon, and it just kicked off the origin of the international space presence. I really hope that all comes out of this generation of people.
the teams are ready and when the spacecraft is ready, the crew is ready and excited to go. So with that, I'll hand it back over to Courtney.
Sweet.
We'll go ahead and kick off our Q&A portion.
All right. I don't know if I'm going to stick around for the Q&A. The whole thing with reaction content is you have to make sure it's fair use content. And fair use, the law states that I have to transform the content in some way as to I'm not just like rebroadcasting NASA's live streams. And I'm not going to have any answers to the questions. And so I don't think I'm going to have anything to add in any transformative way to the Q&A portion of the video. So anyways, if you want to find this video, again, NASA's YouTube channel is linked down below. And you can click in. It will have been probably their latest live stream if you're watching this within a few days of it coming out. And thanks again for watching, and have a good day on Earth.